नमः हरिः ओम श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् एवं श्रुतिस्मृतिभिः गृहीतपरमात्मलक्षणं शिष्यं संसारसागरात् उत्तितीर्षुं पृच्छेत्. I explained that Shishya and those expressions. So these vakyas, these statements are very profound. So he must be a Shishya. Shasitum yogyaha. Shasitum or Shastum, we have to check. So Shastum yogyaha. So he is eligible for instruction. He is ready to be instructed. You should see the eligibility also. Suppose the person is, he wants to run, so you instruct him meditation. What is the use? People are like that, and he is a doer. He wants to do. Chikir shavaha. People are chikir shavaha. They want to do. So, and you want to instruct some dhyanam or jnanam to them. It doesn't work. So he must be eligible. And also, first you should teach him what is Paramatma. That you should teach him. So, Gruhita Paramatma Lakshanam. So, he is made to understand what is that he is seeking. So, he is seeking God. Okay? But that God is the innermost self. That is the seeking here. I find somehow I have a feeling that I am uncomfortable with contradictions. That is the nature. So, if you want to go to, this is Shankara said in one place, you want to go to Calcutta and you are traveling west. Now, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. So, if you have to go to Calcutta, you have to move in the east direction. Sometimes what happens in Europe or America, when we are driving, you are not getting proper directions. Then we just check in which, is it going north or south? It is going north. Okay. As long as it is going north, we are doing fine. We will hit the right path. Because our goal is in the north. But suppose it is going south, you stop it there. Now don't take 1 inch forward. Because you have to come back all that distance. Therefore, some direction must be there. So, if you contradict yourself, even in the very beginning, when will you reach the goal? So here, the student must be made to understand, now, dear son, what is it that you want to know? Brahma. Now, that Brahma you don't find in places. You find it in your heart as the innermost self. So he must be made to understand that point very clearly. Therefore, the message must be, look within, search within. That is the message. So, you give a contrary message, that is not a good thing to do. What happens, these students, they don't think. When elders don't think what to say about the immature or less experienced students, they too don't think. Therefore, they follow. People are followers. They are willing to follow. That's why they are always looking for a leader. Whole life they are looking for a leader. So if not this leader, that leader. If not that leader, some other leader. Now in meditation I tried to tell you that you don't look out to realize about yourself. So you have to look within and you have to guide yourself and you search within and look within and you have to understand the truth about yourself. This point should be made clear to the student. Grihita Paramatma Lakshanam. And then what is his goal? This also I must have described, but I am kind of a recap. I find even when it is a recap, it could be a bit fresh also. So, samsara sagarat uttitirsham. Why does he want to study Vedanta? What is that he wants to study Vedanta? What is his goal? At least he must have some idea about Vedanta. So, in Andhra Pradesh, in those days, the Jamindar of Pithapuram Jamindar, he made a rule. He loved Vyakaranam. So he said, in all these villages, some hundreds of villages are there, and whosoever wants to study Panini, give him food and a place to live. A room and food. They are given free. And therefore, any brahmachari, he doesn't find any better vocation. And so he comes and joins and studies Panini. But that has helped many people to study Panini, no doubt about it, the Pithapuram Jamindar. And he used to conduct every year exams, Maukhika. And in that Vyakaranam is also an exam, and whosoever passed that Pithapuram Pariksha, it is called. And he is considered the greatest of the scholars in that region. The university came later, Andhra University came later. This exam was earlier to Andhra University. So, many people used to study Vyakaranam because that gives them immediate means of living in a place and getting food. And some knowledge also will come. So, like that, take it easy. Therefore, what is the aim of studying Vedanta? Why are you studying Vedanta? This kind of aim is not wrong. In Hrishikesh, we chant 15th chapter so that will bring bhiksha to us. Nothing wrong in it. You just chant a bit loudly 15th chapter, they will give you bhiksha. Something like that. But the goal must be very clear. You want to convert this whole Vedanta into a profession, one more profession. If that is the case, then you find a better profession than this. There are better professions. You study Vyakaranam and become Vyakarana Vidwan. The society respects you and you will be doing a great service to the Vyakaranam and all that. Or you study physics or chemistry, modern subjects. Or you study chartered accountancy, that you can make a lot of money in the society. Therefore, what is your goal? Is it you want to become a professional Vedantin? Then better that is not the proper goal. The student must know clearly, I should get out of this bondage of samsara. What is so bad about samsara? Because samsara is constantly becoming something or the other. There is no end to this process of becoming. A samsari is one who is always looking towards the next. That is what a samsari is. Why he is looking towards the next? Because he is unhappy with the present. That is a samsari. I give you a rule and you apply it. A samsari is one who is unhappy with the present. That is a samsari. And also afraid of the present. The present means what? Whatever is, that is the present. So whatever is around, whatever is within and whatever is without, he is unhappy and he is insecure. So that is a samsari. And that's why when the spiritual aspirants, they bring this samsara into spirituality also. Like they are doing a japam, they are unhappy with that japam, they are looking at some other japam. Just like samsara, I tell you. A samsari, in his home, he lives in a house and he is unhappy with that home. He wants a bigger home or a better home. He lives in a town, he is unhappy with the town. He has to live in another town. He is in a profession, he is unhappy with that profession. He uses all bad words about his profession and he praises the other profession very much. That is what the samsari. And the samsari is in family life, he is unhappy with the family life. He wants to become sannyasi. So a person who is unhappy by being a family person and therefore he takes to sannyasa, you believe me, after 1 month, exactly 1 month, the sannyasa effect will be there for 1 month. That 4 degrees Ganga Snanam, you have to take bath at 4 degrees in Shivaratri day. Even while sitting on the bank, we are shivering. And so that the effect of that snanam, the effect of the clothes, and the effect of all the people congratulating, etc., it will be there for 1 month. And after 1 month, he becomes unhappy with his sannyasa. This is a samsari, I am telling you. Nothing wrong, that is how things are. A samsari is one who is unhappy with what is, with the present. That is what a samsari. And therefore he has to change. The samsari is unhappy with the world. He has to change the world. He is unhappy with family members. He has to change them. And he is unhappy with gods. The gods get defiled. Therefore he has to purify the gods. That is a samsari. You don't know what a samsari is. A samsari is unhappy permanently with his financial condition. A samsari is unhappy in every relationship. He is unhappy in every situation. That is what a samsari is. It won't leave you. This, I have a name for it. A general sense of unsatisfactoriness of it all. You got it? What is the difficulty in it to get? I say again, a general sense of unsatisfactoriness of it all. Now you got it? That is the samsara. And it never ends. Time-wise, it never ends. It will, death, a poet said, death is only a comma, not a full stop. So it doesn't end, it will take off. You get it where you left it, you get it there. Like family provident fund, employee provident fund. You give up this employment, go to another employment. All the trappings of that employment are left behind except provident fund. It will follow you. The samsara is like that. Therefore, I ask you a question. Are you fed up? Truly fed up with this life of becoming, with this life of unhappiness and insecurity? Are you fed up? People are not fed up. People are not fed up, I tell you. Only a few are fed up. And those who are fed up with this samsara are eligible for this Vedanta. Otherwise, they come to the Vedanta and make a mess of it. They misuse it, they misinterpret it. So they misinterpret it and thereby spread a wrong message deep into the society. And then they misuse it. They misuse it. Like they want to use Ishavasya mantras for karma. That is called misuse. They are not meant for karma, but they use it for karma. Therefore, it is like using a king's sword for shaving the beard. Something akin to that. It is not meant for that. Therefore, you have to check whether the student is like that. And then only impart the knowledge. The idea is, why we discuss this, we get inspiration from that. And we try to become better students. That is the idea of discussion. The idea is not to dismiss a few students. The idea is to inspire the students to rise to that level. Therefore, when all these points are taken care of, then the Acharya asks the question, Kastvamasi Somya iti. You see, the teacher should love the students. The students may love the teacher, may not love the teacher, but the teacher always loves the student. So, therefore, sometimes the students study well, sometimes not. Whatever may be the situation, the student is loved. And in the context of teaching, the student is everything. Otherwise, what is that? There is no teaching, Therefore, the teacher addresses the student as Somya. In all Upanishads, that is the address. Somya, it's an interesting word. It means Somavat Priya Darshanaha. That Yapratyaya, it means Iva. So Somya means, Somya is Sambodhana, address. So, like you are like the moon. Moon represents a sight which is joyful. That is the symbol. That is the symbol. If you say, no, we see moon but we don't get, nothing happens to us, then the symbol has no meaning. Not like that. It is generally understood that when you look at the moon, you become happy. For no reason, you don't need any other reason. Therefore, that is the moon. That's why all poets all over the world compared the face of the beloved or the fiancé with the moon. Mukham Chandra Iva. Kalidasa is like that. It all started with Valmiki. Valmiki is like that. Kalidasa, all poets, Shakespeare, everybody. Nobody is an exception. And therefore, moon, the most joyful sight in this world, in our life, otherwise a dreary life, the most joyful sight is the moon. And therefore, dear son, when I see you, I feel as joyous as when I see the moon. Somavat Priyadarshanaha. That is He Somya. That is the address. Who are you? Kastvamasi. He is asking the student, after admitting him into the class, after knowing all about him, and after observing him for a few months, so having known him intimately, he is asking this question, Kastvamasi. Therefore, if there is a suggestion to raise the question, who am I? That doesn't mean you don't know your name, your parents and your age. That is not the idea. To know the idea, okay? So, Kastvamasi, who are you? That is the question. The question also implies you should know who are you. That's why the question. The question is posed after so much instruction to the student, after examining the student in so many ways, and after he passes the muster, I mean he proves to be a good student, then he is challenged with this question. So that means what? So first and foremost, your seeking must be to find out your own Swarupa. Because by the time you have found out your Swarupa, what you call the world supposedly outside, it merges in your Swarupa, because it doesn't exist outside of you. And then what you call God as though other also becomes one with this Swarupa. Or you can say the other way also, whichever way you want to say. It is said both ways. It is said Atma merges in Brahman, or Brahman merges in Atma. When it comes to Atma and Brahma, it is called Aikya Samanadhikaranyam. It is not equality, it is identity. Those who know mathematics well know the difference between equality and identity. Equality is different from identity. Okay? So if you take a quadratic equation, ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, that is equality, not identity. If you take an identity, capital A, identical with ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, that identity is different. Every coefficient must be the same. It is a different thing. Therefore, ignore this equality business. Equality is not what it is. Two human beings are equal. All human beings are equal. This is United Nations Charter. So, Vedanta is a lot more than that. It is not equality. It is identity, Aikya, Samanadhikaranyam. Therefore, Brahma and Atma are identical. Means it doesn't matter whether you say Atma is Brahma or Brahma is Atma. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter Atma merges in Brahma or Brahma merges in Atma. It doesn't matter. Therefore, so if you want to use the language of the bhakti, you have to say Atma merges in Brahma. There, that sentiment, a little sentiment, it operates, which is welcome. But when it comes to Jnanam, even that sentiment is also given a go by. And so there is perfect identity. Anyway, you have to know that. What are you? You have to know. You see, even in life, I tell you, unless you know what are you and be what you are, how difficult it is to know what are you, and even more difficult to be just what you are. So difficult it is. If you just know to be what you are, you have conquered this world. It is so tough thing it is. And so important in life. So, therefore, you should know yourself as well as you can. There is no end to this search. There are quite a few things about this journey I will be saying as and when the occasion presents. Therefore, you should know yourself. That is the goal here. This is called Adhyatma Vidya, a knowledge of oneself. People generally are confused. Most probably because they are led by the confused. Swayam confused, paran confusayanti. So, therefore what happens? All these students who come into Vedanta, they come to serve gods. That is how they come. They let us go and join Vedanta course so that we can worship this god, that god. That's why they join the course. Can you believe it? This is not an Upasana course. This is a Vedanta course, supposedly. And then we also promote Upasanas and Karmas instead of instructing the knowledge of the self. We do everything other than that. And you create so many systems in which the person is taken out of himself and he is putting into things other than pursuing his own self. Now, that is not the way to pursue that. Very interesting how the world goes in a way, particular way, very self-contradictory way. We call it Adhyatma Vidya. Why do you call it Adhyatma Vidya? Why don't you call it Adhidaiva Vidya? You call it Adhidaiva Vidya. There was such discussion in Brihadaranyaka Bhashya. Therefore, in Bhashyas everything is there, if only you have the ability to go through that. Therefore, it is Adhyatma Vidya. And Sri Krishna said, Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam. There are so many Vidyas, they all come under the category of Adhibhuta Vidya. That is all science and technology. And Adhidaiva Vidya, all karma and upasana, all religions of the world. That is also Adhidaiva. Everybody is trying to pursue God in their own way, in a way that is determined by the geography, the weather. Weather also determines people's pursuit of God. Paradise is very green because these people were born and brought up in a desert. Like that. Therefore, so this is how we pursue. That is Adhibhuta and Adhidaiva, but not Adhyatma. Adhyatma is something unique. This is Adhyatma. Kastvamasi Somya. Dear son, find out who are you. So, therefore, Shri Krishna says, among all these Vidyas, Adhyatma Vidya, the supreme, which I am, means the supreme ityarthaha, Vibhuti. So then he replies, Sayadi Bruyat. Suppose he replies like that. Yadi means suppose. Then the teacher must instruct him accordingly. That is the idea of putting a yadi there. Brahmana putraha adonvayaha brahmachari asam. That is how he replies. So, you see how Shankara is building it. So, generally, he replies, I am the son of a Brahmana. Thank God, he doesn't say Brahmanoham. He says Brahmana Putraha. I knew one Swami, he is no more, God bless him. He is no more. He used to say, if anybody asks him, he used to say, I am not a Brahmana, but my father is certainly a Brahmana. He used to say. The idea is very clear. My father lived the life of a Brahmana, but I never lived it. So why should I call myself a Brahmana? So Brahmana Putraha. I am the son of a Brahmana, whatever that means. Okay? Adonvayaha. Adas Anvaya. Ayam Asau Anvayaha Yasya Saha Adonvayaha. belonging to this family or this lineage or this gotra. That also he tells. So, like that he tells. Sometimes this newly initiated into Gayatri, the brahmachari, they come and do namaskar and they tell themselves like this. They hold like this. This is how they hold. Chatusagara paryantam, like that they start. Go brahmane bhishashubham bhavatu angera sambarisha yavvana shvatrayarusheya parvaranvita harita sagotraha subramanya sharma ahambho abhivadaye. That is how he will say. So he has declared his caste or varna, sharma. Some people say varma. So that is included, and the one who knows it. And then his anvaya, means entire the lineage, etc. So all that, he says that. And suppose the student is a brahmachari. It's interesting, Shankara includes grahastha also. Suppose the student is a brahmachari. He says, I am a brahmachari asam. Suppose the student is not a brahmachari, he is a family person, then grahastho va. So he is a family person. Then he will say, sir, so I am a brahmana putraha. That will be common. Adonvayaha. This is, I am a son of so-and-so. I am a brahmana putraha and I belong to this lineage. And I am a family person. I am married with or without children, whatever he will say. So this means a married person also can go and study Vedanta, provided he wants Vedanta. That is the thing. You see, married people sometimes, like the brahmacharis, human mind, you know, just because you get a title, that doesn't make you something superior, you know. So titles are what? So the grahasthas, they come to ashrams and mahatmas to find ways to solve their family problems and emotional problems. Who created those problems? They themselves have created. So, the mother-in-law, daughter-in-law syndrome, so God has created it. No, we people have created ourselves. We create them. And then the Swami has a magic wand. The Swami knows the solutions for all these problems. Quite often people forget that the guy has become a Swami because he could not handle the samsara. That is the fact of it. He did not have the courage to get married. I know many people, no, it is not for me. I cannot, because once I enter into it, I cannot come out of it easily. No, like that. Or he got married and he lived a married life and he is done with it. Not blaming anybody. So hand over just everything you hand over to them and walk out with a pair of clothes which they don't want. So pick up a pair of clothes which they don't want and walk out. So it is a good riddance for them and for him also, him or her. Therefore, so the point is how a Swami can advise you about the family feuds. A Swami cannot advise you, no? But a Swami can advise in the sense that he will tell, don't feud, don't quarrel, be enduring, accommodate, love. All that kind of an advice the Swami gives, but they don't like that advice. They don't like that advice. That's why some Swamis, they put a bag of talismans by their side and pull out a talisman and give it. Now you tie it to your left hand and your mother-in-law will behave properly from tomorrow onwards. They say like that. They say that. I wish I am exaggerating. It's a crazy world, I tell you. I don't know how to understand this world. These are the gurus. Amazing. And if it is too crude, this talisman is too crude, then there is a subtler thing, more subtle. Give a mantra. Now, talisman I easily commented. I cannot comment with the same ease when it comes to the mantra. Namo Namaha. So this is nothing Vedanta in it. You have to advise them, sir, you are making a mistake. Withdraw. Don't pursue this path of confrontation anymore. There is a power called love in this world. No military power ever equal the power of love. You don't know the power of love. You have to know. The mighty Roman Empire came crumbling before the power of love. Therefore, you understand that and practice it in life, and you will win. So, and also understand that there is victory in the defeat. And don't try to be so victorious, because there is always defeat underneath the victory. Therefore, this victory and defeat are very relative, and they are not absolute. So don't pursue victory so doggedly. So this is the advice you have to give. Anyway, coming back to the point, the Grahastha, he could be a student of Vedanta. He need not give up family life to study Vedanta. To know yourself, should you give up family life? You need not. To know yourself, should you give up confrontation in the family life? Yes. Should you give up your honest profession to know self, to know yourself? No, not necessary. You keep it. To know the self, should I give up ambition, insensitivity, greed, etc. in my profession? Yes, you should give up. Therefore, he could be a grahasthova. Then what about now? Idanim asmi paramahamsa parivrat. Now I have taken to a life of sannyasa. That is the student. So he was a brahmachari, he took to a life of sannyasa. Or he was a grahastha, took to a life of sannyasa. Whatever be the situation. Okay? He wants to know the self. So now I am the Paramahamsa Parivrat. The word is very simple. Hamsa. Hamsa is not a swan, unless you use it in a metaphoric way. Okay? Hamsa. These translations could be sometimes misleading. So Paramahamsa means the supreme swan, something like that. So in metaphoric sense it is okay. Hamsa means the jnani. Hamsa is jnanam. Hanti ajnanam iti hamsaha jnanam. And so he is supreme by the dint of his knowledge, by the power of his knowledge. And he doesn't stick to one place, this is my birthplace, one home, this is my own home. Like that, he doesn't stick to a place and a home. He moves around. He is a hobo, you know, hobo. So that is holy hobo, very sacred hobo. So that is what he is. Like hippie. In Western countries, they become hippies. In India, they become sannyasis. Really. Parivrat, you know, will be going all around. The spirit behind it. So this is what I am. And now why do you approach the teacher? So why are you present your case before the teacher? What? Samsara sagarat janma mrityu mahagrahat uttitir shuriti. So I want to cross this ocean of samsara. Uttitirshuhu. So titirshuhu is sannanta. You know sannanta? Sun prachay. You know all that? Sun. A dhatu puts sun. Then the dhatu gets doubled up. Abhyasa. And then you get some changes, modifications in the first part of the abhyasa. This is purvo abhyasaha, the first one. So the one important change is A becomes E. That is how Ti comes, sanyataha. That is how Ti comes, sani parehe ataha, I syat, something like that. Therefore, titirshu, the one who is desirous of crossing over the other side of the ocean. You see, you are caught in the ocean, you will be floating there, but sometime you have to come onto the ground, you know. How long you will be able to float there? Therefore, because it is very painful, the ocean doesn't kill the guy, it doesn't drown the person. Suppose he drowns immediately, then there is no issue. But it doesn't drown him, it uplifts him. The ocean is like that. A lot of buoyancy. So it pushes up the person. So he won't drown. And then he cannot live also. He cannot die, he cannot live. This is how the samsaris are. So, like the Sri Ramakrishna's frog caught by a serpent in its mouth. The frog is alive. The serpent is unable to digest it, eat it and get done with it. But the serpent doesn't give it up also. Suppose the serpent throws it out, then the frog can jump and go its way. Or it eats and the frog dies, the problem is over. The agony comes to an end. It doesn't do that. So, in fact, Sri Ramakrishna gave the example. He found a serpent holding on to a frog. After 3.5 hours, it was still there. Because now the serpent cannot move also. Because it is holding on to the frog, it lost its mobility. And so it is just sitting there. And the frog is still moving. This is the samsari. Samsaris are like that. That's why the samsaris, they take up projects. Now they cannot digest it, they cannot spit it out. The samsaris are like that. In America, I have seen, he is living in a 2-bedroom home, now he goes for a 5-bedroom mansion and some mortgage, etc. And now that is the frog in his mouth. He cannot digest it, nor he can spit it out. In the meanwhile, the house prices have come down. Now, what is your problem? People are unhappy. Why you should be unhappy? Let it come down. You are not putting it for sale. You are living in it. Now, even if its price becomes 0, you should be comfortable. If somebody takes it away from you, you should be unhappy. Why should its price not come down? This is a silly question coming from a person who doesn't understand the intricacies of the finances. From me. I don't know the intricacies. That's why I asked such a silly question. But they are extremely distressed that the prices have come down. When he purchased, its value is $100,000. Now it is only $50,000. The house price. Nowhere the house prices come down except in America, I tell you. Everywhere they are appreciating, but there it comes down. And therefore he is unhappy. Because he is holding to a property which is much less in value. This is the samsaris. These are the samsaris. They create endless problems for themselves and blame everything for their problem. They blame stars, they blame planets, they blame gods and goddesses and gurus and everything. The governments, the parties, you name it, they will blame it for their problems. Who created their problems? They created their problems. The samsaris, nobody can uplift them. You give them a nice piece of advice, they resist it. They give up this Swami and go to some other Swami. They don't like the nice advice. They go to a Swami with malas and talismans and mantras. Okay, you get what you deserve. Samsaris, you know. And they are caught between the two extremities of birth and death, and they oscillate between the two. They cannot stop. Even if they are getting a dizzy in their head, they have to oscillate. Janma mrityu, between birth and death. They are so loving of janma, they go after it, but then mrityu comes after them. People will be going after birth, death will be giving a chase from behind. You stop going after birth, death will go its way. But these people, they are so enamored or so attracted by this thing called birth. So attracted by birth that they celebrate birth. A new child is born, they celebrate it. It is not an occasion for celebration. If any, it's an occasion for sympathizing with the poor jiva who has come into this murky world and who has a life of sorrow and frustration before him or her for 70 or 80 or 90 years. So is it a time for celebration? Suppose you are arrested and put in Tihar jail, you celebrate the occasion. That is what the samsaris are. They celebrate. They celebrate the arrival of a new child. They celebrate. And then they regret for their whole life. And then they celebrate their own birth. You were born, it was done deal, Why you celebrate? No, I was born. You were born. Today you are born again. One more time you are born. Why are you celebrating? Done deal. Birth was over. Done deal. So the mother went through the labor and gave birth one time. Why do you celebrate so many times? Amazing. I have not seen in Ramayana, Valmiki, Rama celebrating either his birthday or Dasharatha and Kausalya celebrating Rama's birthday. You don't even see the mention of it. And in our childhood, in the end, when I try to remember, nobody mentioned that I was born on such and such date to me. Only one time my mother told me, "Dear son, you were born today," in a passing reference. In the entire community, nobody knew what is this birthday rigmarole. Amazing. That is how they are caught between birth and death. And this birth and death are the most, this ocean is infested. He is found in the ocean, The ocean is infested. The most frightening sharks, Mahagraha sharks, killer sharks, very big ones. And what are these killer sharks? Birth and death. Janma mrityu, Mahagraha, Mahagrahat, Bahuvrihi samasa. So the samsara sagara, which is infested with the killer sharks of birth and death. Birth kills, death also kills. It is infested by these sharks. That is the samsara. And I want to get out of it. I want to uplift myself from that samsara. You see, I ask you, what do you want in life? What is it that you are seeking? What is your goal? The goal must be freedom. Then you are a student of Vedanta. If the goal is wealth, then either you are a worldly person or a religious person. If you don't mind my saying this, the die-hard religionist is no different from die-hard worldly person, because they have almost similar desires and fears. Only then what is the difference between a worldly person and a religious person? Worldly person pursues his desires through the worldly means. You make more money by hook or crook. You make more money and fulfill your desire. Whereas the religious person pursues the same kind of desire, not even a different kind of desire, nothing superior in the desire, nothing worthier in the desire, the same kind of desire he pursues through rituals and mental worships, karma and upasana. That is the only difference. Except the means. Now, which means is better, I don't know, you decide, because means, the motive is supremely important. The motive happens to be the desire, not a worthy motive at all. Therefore, there is no difference between a worldly person and a religionist as far as the motives are concerned. They have the same motive. Now you come to Vedanta. What is your motive? You first settle your motive. In settling the motive, you have settled the nature of journey. It determines the kind of journey that you are going to undertake, and also it determines the outcome of your journey. Therefore, you have to first set right the motive. What is the motive? Freedom. Mumukshuhu. What is freedom? Freedom is I get up and do whatever I like. Is that freedom that we are talking about? No, that you do anyway. Even now you are doing it. You don't need to get it. I make money and spend as I like. That you do anyway. That is not the freedom I am talking about. No, I will say whatever I like. That you do anyway. That is not the freedom. I want to be taken care of economically. That is economic freedom. That is not the freedom I am talking about. I want to vote for the person whom I like. That is freedom. That is political freedom, not the freedom that I am talking about. I want to take a car and drive wherever I like. That is America. Here you cannot drive car or any such thing. By the time you take the car onto the main road, you will lose all interest to travel. You don't feel like traveling. You want to sit inside only. That is better than venturing out. Where will you go? With your car, where will you go? It is better to sit here. Right? Sit here. And Ganga is the near. Where will you go there? You may have an Impala car with you, but where will you go? You go outside the gate and look at it. It is worthy of driving a car. So therefore, that is not free. That is America. I will take my car and drive wherever I want. That is freedom. Liberty. First Amendment, this and that. So I will marry the girl that I like. This is the modern freedom. And then start quarreling with her and look for divorce. This is freedom. Is this freedom? That is also freedom. But we are not, that is not freedom. The correct word for that will be independence. That is the word. Independence. If you want to call liberty, you can call it liberty also. Not freedom that we are talking about. Here moksha is freedom, you know. Liberation you can say. So here freedom is the psychological freedom. You should know what it is. Here freedom is understood in three ways. One, freedom from all desires. Means you step out of the net of desires. It is like the fish inside the net, and it is given a chance, and then it jumps out of the net. That's it. Now the fish is free. Can you imagine that? A fish inside the net. That is what we are. The fish inside the net. And then a chance came, and the fish jumped out of the net. And it jumped into the wide, vast ocean. What a freedom it is. That is the freedom we are talking about. Freedom from you step out of the net of desires. You should understand by now